Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Electric cars could become the norm under new federal mileage rules. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. A proposal to create tougher pollution rules are even more ambitious than what we've seen in California. And Jacob Ayer tells us about the timeline and what it could mean for San Diegans.
Climate change is an urgent problem, and the federal government is proposing new regulations on car tailpipe emissions to try and help make a difference. On Wednesday, the Environmental Protection Agency proposed standards that could require electric vehicles to account for 2/3 of new car sales in the U.S. by 2032.
Well, electric cars are here for sure, and the federal government is attempting to accelerate that transition.
UC San Diego professor and environmental economist Mark Jacobson says the limits are the strictest ever proposed at the federal level. But California already has some regulations in place that all new cars, pickup trucks, and SUV sales in the state have to be electric or hydrogen by 2035. Jacobson says the trick with the new federal proposal is going to be making enough affordable EV cars, adding a lot more charging stations, and most importantly, getting people to buy in.
You know, we're going to transition to electric vehicles almost certainly around the world at some point, potentially very soon, maybe not for another 10, 15 years. It's not clear, right? And so the federal government is trying to speed up that transition, particularly in states that are not California or not the states following California's lead.
Transportation accounts for nearly 30% of all greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S., according to the EPA. Jacobson says the effects from this proposal could greatly reduce the effects of climate change, especially if the country's electric grid is also decarbonized. It'll also improve the health of communities across the country and in San Diego.
The implications are profound for the environment, for sure, for local air quality. Electric cars are fantastic at removing pollution from cities.
The EPA will accept public comments on its proposal for 60 days, then issue its final regulation. The federal plan would represent the strongest push yet towards a shift from gas and diesel-powered cars to battery-powered vehicles. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
High gas prices are another reason people are looking at electric cars. Locally, AAA reports the average for a gallon of regular is $4.93. Prices have been just short of the $5 mark over the past month. The latest status check on inflation shows things are improving for consumers. The federal government's Consumer Price Index shows inflation is at 5% year over year. It's the 9th straight month of declines. Inflation is mostly flat month to month, with just a 0.1% increase according to federal numbers. The tax deadline has been extended for San Diego County, but if you qualify for free tax help, you might want to get it done sooner rather than later. KPBS reporter Melissa May explains why.
This year, San Diego County residents do not have to have their taxes completed by April 18th.
What we've been told by our IRS partners is that the tax extension to October 16th is available for San Diego County residents and as well as other counties that qualify who were impacted by the storms.
San Diego County residents who make less than $60,000 a year also qualify for free tax preparation.
We still recommend that folks, if they're low and moderate income, to get their taxes filed by April 18th, because that's when the bulk of the free tax preparation services will be available.
Since the start of this year's tax season, the EITC, or Earned Income Tax Credit Coalition, have completed over 11,000 tax returns. That's almost 2,000 more than last year, and $20 million in refunds have been issued.
We want to be coordinated in our approach so that all of the organizations that do this service are giving out the same message and providing high quality services to the community.
This coalition is made up of over 35 different organizations throughout the county that provide free tax preparation services.
In North County, East, Central, South Bay as well. And all someone has to do is call 211, and they can make an appointment at any of the locations throughout the county.
All of the coalition's partners are certified and established in the community.
They care so much about the community. They're very friendly. They make the environment very warm and welcoming, and it's not intimidating at all.
Carl and May Pino have used this free tax assistance for years.
This is such a great service. We enjoyed the time being here, and it's so efficient. And the best part is we get all this great service for nothing. We don't have to pay a penny. The people here are very understanding. If you are missing something, you will have the time to probably go get whatever you're missing and come back, and they will still help you.
For those who are unsure if they qualify for the extension or would like to make an appointment for free tax preparation services, should call 211. Melissa May, KPBS News.
Childcare is in high demand. This has the state stepping in with financial grants to help centers expand. The problem is providers face long delays in getting the money. KPBS reporter Tanya Thorne takes a look at the impacts.
Buds and Blossoms Preschool is one of the few childcare centers in Fallbrook, or anywhere in the surrounding rural area.
With the lack of childcare in preschools, it's a huge demand.
Nikki Bowles is the director and owner of the center. She says she gets calls daily from parents looking for open childcare slots.
I have a waiting list of children to enter into the preschool. We opened and expanded into the infant care because I was turning away children that were below the age of 18 months.
Last year, she got a grant from the state to expand her preschool to provide infant care.
I applied for the funding and they gave it to us, but there was such a holdup on receiving the funding.
Bowles was awarded $1 million. It was great news, but there was a catch. She had to wait more than 6 months for the money.
In order to open the infant toddler, we took out multiple loans, personal and business loans, to get it started in order for us to meet the demands of childcare in this area.
She had to take loans while she waited for the state money to come through. She was on the verge of having to lay staff off. Finally, she got a portion of the money in February, but is still waiting on the rest.
The funding itself, we were expecting a lot sooner.
This was Bowles' first time applying for state grants, and she was taken aback by all of the fine print.
We found out that it was not a grant. It was actually it was a contract that we have to meet deadlines. We have to have income qualifications for parents that are accepted to that program. Our ratios had to be lower in the infant and our toddler program. So carrying those burdens was a little bit harder to navigate.
Bowles isn't alone. The state awarded more than $30 million in grants to 7 childcare businesses in San Diego County. Several of those businesses told KPBS they have also experienced delays. And just like Bowles, the centers that do get funding have to meet the contract conditions. If they don't, that funding has to go back to the state. In the last fiscal year, California's Department of Social Services awarded San Diego area childcare businesses more than $21 million. But almost 14% of that went unspent.
All these families need care, and all these providers need the funding to be able to provide the care. And, each day that goes by is a lost opportunity for a family and for a provider.
Kim McDougall is the Senior Vice President of Social Services for the YMCA of San Diego County.
Situations happen where then millions of dollars go back to the state, and those dollars go back into the general fund. They don't go back into childcare. It totally does not help our case for childcare advocacy. It makes legislators in the state think, well, maybe these dollars aren't needed. Nobody's spending them. Whereas on the reality on the ground is that there was no opportunity to really, truly spend them.
McDougall says larger organizations like the YMCA are also impacted by the delays, but they have different streams of funding to pull from. But smaller centers don't, and funding delays means fewer kids get care. Like Bowles back at Buds and Blossoms. She's currently not accepting new enrollments.
So it's been a huge difference in trying to find care, and I have families who call me daily.
And all of those families have to go on the waiting list. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
San Diego State University plans to reopen a building on campus that was the center of a health scare. After repeated testing, the Exercise and Nutritional Sciences building has no presence of the bacteria that causes Legionnaire's disease. An annex where low levels were found in a water line has been disinfected. SDSU now plans to reopen the buildings to the campus community on Monday, April 24th. The area was shut down in February when a longtime professor at SDSU died from Legionnaire's disease. Even before he takes over, the new CEO of the El Centro Regional Medical Center is reassuring Imperial Valley residents that the hospital will be there long term.
I'm going to do the best that I can to improve the services and the care that we provide to the Valley community.
Pablo Velez is a former nurse who rose through the ranks at Sharp Chula Vista Medical Center to CEO. He is taking the helm of the financially strained hospital that serves the county's 180,000 residents. El Centro Regional recently closed its labor and delivery services while its board explores options to make the hospital financially stable. Many people in Imperial seek health care outside of the valley, and Velez wants to change that.
I want to make sure that we're working and collaborating with the community to ensure the success of this hospital.
El Centro Regional recently entered into an agreement with UC San Diego Health to take over operations during restructuring. One idea to help balance the budget is creating a new tax district that would allow the county's hospitals and clinics to share resources as a single health system. A former San Diego congressman who resigned in disgrace more than 3 years ago over a campaign finance scandal is facing renewed scrutiny over his actions while serving in Iraq in 2004. KPBS military and veterans reporter Andrew Dyer has more on the new revelations about Duncan Hunter.
Before Duncan D. Hunter was elected to Congress, he was a Marine artillery officer fighting in Iraq at the First Battle of Fallujah. At the time, Duncan L. Hunter, his father, was a congressman and the chair of the Armed Services Committee, a powerful position with influence over the military's budget. It was the spring of 2004, and as a relatively new officer, First Lieutenant Hunter was under instruction in a combat operations center coordinating mortar strikes. A Marine platoon holed up in a schoolhouse called in a strike to a nearby position. According to a new investigation from the NPR podcast Embedded and its new series Taking Cover, Hunter checked the wrong mission card. Deciding no friendly units were close, he plotted the coordinates and approved the mortar strike. It landed in the middle of the schoolhouse courtyard. 2 Marines and an Iraqi interpreter were killed. Here's NPR Pentagon reporter Tom Bowman from the Taking Cover podcast.
Clearly, if this had come out back in 2004, that the son of the chair of the House Armed Services Committee was involved in a deadly friendly fire accident, that would have been big news.
But it wasn't news. The Marines didn't even tell the families their loved ones were killed by friendly fire for 3 years. After a colonel recommended several of the Marines be punished over the incident, military officials overruled that, and no one was punished. Hunter's involvement was kept secret until the 3rd episode of the podcast released last week. Releasing Thursday, episode 4 promises to delve deeper into Hunter's role and the 19-year cover-up. Andrew Dyer, KPBS News.
A city in the Bay Area is the latest to confront alleged misconduct within its police department. And now the city's mayor is angrily criticizing hateful comments revealed by officer text messages. J.R. Stone has more from an emotional public hearing in Antioch.
You want to go outside right now? Let's go. I am sick and tired of being attacked by these people in this community, apologizing for the racism that is going on in this community. You're the problem. You're the problem.
Tense moments between Antioch Mayor Lamar Thorpe and a community member in a special meeting where residents and public officials commented on alleged racist and homophobic text messages sent between some Antioch police officers.
It's disgusting. It's vile, and we're not going to tolerate this. That put a hurt on me.
What is happening I can't believe it. It's disgusting. It's more than disgusting.
They have no business being in law enforcement.
To all the other officers that are involved with using racist terms and calling Black people by really derogatory terms, it's too much.
The texts, part of an FBI and district attorney investigation, have not been made public. Our media partner, the Mercury News, obtained a report containing the texts in which officers used slurs and made light of national cases involving police violence. During Tuesday's meeting, Mayor Thorpe addressed the text messages and vowed to make changes.
This was in their heart. This is in their heart. And it's not just 17 individuals we're talking about. We're now talking about 24. 24. I'm not sweeping it under the rug. We're not going to do that. They may get upset. The institution and the status quo may get upset, but I'm not hiding behind that. This is what it is, and we got to deal with it.
There is uncertainty about how many officers are implicated in the report. Antioch Police Chief Stephen Ford addressed the issue at hand, saying officers who may have been involved here are not currently on patrol.
There's a lot of good officers in the Antioch Police Department who work hard every day. And that's one thing I noticed when I came here from San Francisco after 32 years, was the dedication that these officers have to the profession. So I'm not going to indict the entire organization. Let's just be clear, this is unfortunate. Let's not gloat in this. This is very, very unfortunate to the city, to this organization, and to the profession.
And that was J.R. Stone reporting. KPBS News partner iNewsSource has an in-depth story involving a San Diego police officer who is calling out what he describes as anti-Black racism in the department. Officer John Cochran is speaking out publicly for the first time. He says that he's filed several complaints about other police department employees during his 3-decade career. Some of the details are now emerging due to a new state law that allows the public to access internal case files. And we have that story for you at kpbs.org and in today's San Diego News Now podcast.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the News Hour, the EPA's latest move to get Americans to switch to electric vehicles. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
The Colorado River is one of several places that San Diego gets its water, but other major cities within a day's drive of us rely on the Colorado River heavily. Lucy Kafanov explains the tough choices that might have to be made if climate trends continue.
As water levels for the Colorado River's major reservoirs remain at alarmingly low levels, exacerbated by more than 2 decades of drought and chronic overuse, the federal government releasing a dire assessment of the painful choices facing the American West.
We cannot kick the can on finding solutions, and the women and men responsible for managing the system for the benefit of 40 million Americans and countless ecosystems.
Snaking across the Southwest and into Mexico, the Colorado River is the lifeblood of the region. It waters booming cities while nourishing some of the nation's most fertile fields and generates hydroelectricity for the Southwest. But without massive changes to how the water is used and distributed, all that could soon be at risk.
We have a lot of hard work and difficult decisions ahead of us in this basin, but those paths have dire consequences in some cases and may spur opposition or even litigation.
The options presented by the Interior Department to cut 2 million acre-feet in water usage in 2024 are grim. One prioritizes the needs of thirsty farming regions in California, which along with native tribes have a higher water priority claim. But that could devastate major western cities like Las Vegas, which gets 90% of its water from the Colorado River, as well as Los Angeles and Phoenix. Option 2, spread the pain evenly among all the users, which could lead to lengthy court battles. A third option, doing nothing at all, might have the highest cost if the river continues to dwindle.
This no action alternative, we will see the most impacts to the system. We can expect water levels to continue to decline, threatening the operations of the system and the water supply of 40 million people.
While an unusually wet winter is providing some relief, it's not enough to solve the Colorado River crisis.
Everyone who lives and works in the basin knows that one good year will not save us from more than 2 decades of drought.
For some communities in Arizona, the dire future is a present reality. Part of Maricopa County, about an hour's drive from downtown Phoenix, the Rio Verde foothills community was a slice of paradise until it began to run dry. Too many homes, too little water.
I think everybody thinks the government or somebody's going to take care of it. And unfortunately, I think that's what most of the U.S. is thinking. And they need to wake up, and people need to start conserving water now, before it's too late.
We lost all of our water.
Drought has already pushed farmers like Will Thielander to the brink.
Do you fear that the future of farming in Arizona is under threat?
Yeah, no one can produce it like the Colorado River can for food. It's just nowhere on earth is it done like that. So yeah, I'm really worried. 50 years down the road, unless we come up with solutions, farming won't be here.
But time to come up with those solutions is running out.
Clouds have a tendency to linger throughout the overnight, even a couple of showers into Thursday, but later on this week, into this weekend, we're going to be talking about a warming trend and more on your weekend forecast here coming up shortly. Let's talk about the conditions here for tonight. And like I said, some clouds around. Can even rule out a sprinkle or two. Nothing overly heavy when it comes to precipitation. Temperatures will be dropping down into the mid-50s and a low 50s, in fact, around Oceanside at Chula Vista down to 53. Some of those showers could also be seen a little further inland over some of the interior valleys. Mount Laguna down to 40. Borrego Springs dropping into the upper 40s. And notice again, some of the clouds around, some of the wet weather. This will persist. You can see this on Futurecast as we go throughout the late evening into the overnight. Little bit of green here showing up, but definitely a lot of cloudiness. So much like the last couple of days, not that much of the way of sunshine until we venture our way toward the latter half of the afternoon and into the early evening. A little bit better chance of, again, some breaks in the clouds at that point. But much of the day, we'll see clouds around and some showers, at least some sprinkles, and that'll hold those temperatures down considerably below the historical average. Only 50s around Chula Vista at Oceanside. 72, Borrego Springs, some gusty breezes, Mount Laguna, windy 2, high temperature at 43. Let's go down the road here. A change is coming toward the coast. And once we get past the Thursday, we're going to notice some sunshine and some milder air as we top off into the 60s for the weekend and heading right into early next week. Overnight lows will be rising up into the low 50s. Interior valleys, morning showers Thursday. Otherwise, increasing amounts of sunshine as we work our way into the weekend. Nice, in fact, here Saturday into Sunday with highs climbing up into the 70s. Overnight low rising up to right around 50 degrees. And toward the mountains, looking at some rain on Thursday, some wind, still chilly Friday into Saturday. But we will notice a bit of warming here Sunday also into Monday with some breezes working their way back in. Toward the desert, also notice a warming trend here as we work our way into the weekend with highs climbing back into the 80s with sunshine. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Justin Pavic.
The popularity of artificial intelligence has caused San Diego's largest tech company to remodel its mission. KPBS sci-tech reporter Thomas Fudge tells us why Qualcomm now sees itself as an AI company.
The Artificial Intelligence Center at San Diego State is trying to create programs that use AI to solve problems in many different settings. But once the programs are created on a supercomputer, they have to start working on devices that aren't so super.
When it's trained and we're past this development stage, it's going to need to exist on devices that can actually run them, but aren't so, they don't take a lot of power or that can handle these algorithms. So Qualcomm really fits in the more of the edge in actually using AI.
Qualcomm is pushing the limits of technologies like artificial intelligence.
A Qualcomm promotional film featuring actress Michelle Yeoh is the company's effort to try to link Qualcomm with AI in the mind of the market. Don McGuire is Chief Marketing Officer for Qualcomm. He says the coming growth of AI poses a difficult question.
With the advent of generative AI and these large language models, people just automatically expect that when they're querying ChatGPT, for example, and these answers are coming back, where is that coming from? How is that happening? Today, it's happening primarily in the cloud, right, at a data center somewhere.
The problem with that, he says, is data centers don't have the power and the economic model to accommodate artificial intelligence as its use increases.
So really what's going to happen in order for this all to work at scale is AI has to become hybrid, meaning a certain amount of computation and behavioral algorithms have to be done on device as well as in the cloud.
And that, McGuire says, is where Qualcomm comes in. He says on-device AI not only applies to smartphones and laptops, but to manufacturing programs and to cars. One Qualcomm product for cars is called a digital chassis that includes driver assist functions that fall just short of driverless car technology.
We're not at full autonomy yet, but there's a lot of driver's assistance going on in level 2, level 3, and vehicles from $30,000 all the way to $100,000, like lane assist, for example, like detecting if you're sleepy, if you're drowsy, and giving you a notification that maybe you should pull over and get a cup of coffee.
Marketing computer chips for artificial intelligence can be a challenge since chips are not the kind of things consumers relate to. But Qualcomm is trying to get consumers who care about technology to become aware of Qualcomm's digital platforms and everything from computers to cars.
But someday, ideally as the CMO of Qualcomm, I want a consumer walking into a dealership and saying, hey, is this car powered by Snapdragon? That would be ideal.
Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
And here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom. This might be the most Instagrammable time of the year. NPR's Morning Edition has a story on the super blooms that are drawing crowds here in the West. And KPBS Arts editor Julia Dixon Evans will join Midday Edition to give her preview of this year's Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.